Hello and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, let's talk about working for a vacation. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. I trust and hope that you had an amazing time off, an amazing Thanksgiving holiday if you are in the United States or you are an American and you celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. This episode is coming out to you just after that, at the conclusion of it on this Monday. And I pray and hope that you got to spend some quality time with family. You got to take some time to rejuvenate. You got to take some time to relax. Or if you're similar to me, you used it as a time to really get focused, to buckle down and get a lot of things done off of your nagging to-do list. I certainly did. I had a massive budget spreadsheet that I wanted to complete, and I'd been putting off, and I finally just kind of said, you know what, I need to get this done. So I used this holiday weekend while most businesses were closed to do that, as well as to make some connections with people on social media and things, which is always fun to do as well. Today I want to talk about, as the title suggests, is about vacations. Now, it is very common, it is very absolutely acceptable that most Americans, if you're in a North American type of a culture, you take vacations. You know, you may take one a year, you may take one every 5 years, you may take several, every couple months, whatever your case is and how you prioritize your funds and what kind of and level of funds that you have. And I will put a little bit of a disclaimer to this. This episode is absolutely not geared towards retirees. This episode is not geared towards people who have their income well established and they are pretty much cruising. They are retired. They are now doing kind of whatever they want. They do not need to work to get additional income or anything of that nature. So they can kind of come and go as they please. So disclaimer, this is not for you. However, this is for people such as myself that are still in their working years. They're still in their production years, in their years of building whatever that is as far as their job, their business, your reputation, all those types of things that are going into you're growing something and you're developing something. You have not, quote unquote, arrived yet. And I want to take a second because it's something that we don't often think about consciously and on purpose, intentionally, is vacation. Now, I know when I first joined the workforce, that was an important part of the compensation package of different places that I applied to work, as, how many vacations days do I get the year? And certainly in the military, they're like, you get 30 days of vacation every year, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. Like, wow, I get to take a month off. Well, of course, there are all the hidden gotchas that go along with that, but that's for another discussion later. But it is part of our mindset, at least it was part of my mindset growing up, that, vacations and how much vacation time you get in a year is absolutely critical. And I remember having discussions with other, peers growing up as a young adult and like, oh, this person had this job and wow, they'd built up to get 4 weeks of vacation, which was in kind of the normal, was kind of unheard of. They had worked several years in order to get that because they started with like 1 week of vacation. And then, a couple years later, they got 2, a couple years later more, they got 3, and then 4 eventually and all that kind of stuff. And they max out at 4 weeks a year, which when you think about it is pretty incredible in the sense of we're working 11 months of our life of every year in order just to have the privilege to tell your boss, your employer that, hey, I'm going to take this time off and you're going to continue to pay me to do so. So I guess there's different ways to look at it. But I want to talk about it from the sense of you may not like this statement, you may not agree with this statement, and you are absolutely free to disagree with me. You're absolutely free to provide some counter arguments. I would love to hear them and your thoughts on this. Please comment below on whether it's your podcast platform that you're listening to or on YouTube, and let's have a discussion. Shoot me an email, kale@kalehouserleadership.com. I believe vacations are designed and set up for the middle class. I think that mentality of I've got to work all year, save up my little bit of pennies here and there, save on that clipping coupons and save and scrimp and save to build up this little fund, vacation travel fund, whether it be $5,000 or $1,000 or $20,000 in order to take this break, in order to step away from your everyday life, in order to go do something, whether it's as a family or just something for yourself, whatever that is, what that vacation is. Because often not, vacations are not seen as something what I think they should be meant to. They're not seen as a chance to recharge. They're not seen as a chance to kind of go and learn something. They're not seen as a chance to, or for self-improvement. They're not seen as a way to change your environment in order to change your perspective. Instead, vacations are a way to kind of take that, in the classic line from old school, that elephant dart to the face. They're a way to escape from what has become the humdrum of your life in order to find some sort of hopefully pleasurable experience, whether it be Disney World, a Bahamas cruise, a ski trip to the mountains, whatever that is. It's in a way to escape and forget about your life for a little while. Instead of, I'm going to take this vacation and I'm going to go, learn something. I'm going to go do this camp, whatever that is, so some way that you're actually improving and contributing to your life. Because guess what, in the first example, guess what's still waiting for you at the end of that week or 2 weeks or even 4 weeks? I certainly experienced this in the military, and all the years when I would travel away on vacation, the military would let me go for however long. And by the way, it was only one time in all my years was I ever allowed to take more than 2 weeks off at a time. So it's not like I got to be like, oh, I'm just going to take the month off, right? A little bit of a disclaimer there. But it was my job and responsibilities and my life and the expectations and everything was still the exact same when I got back from vacation. And in fact, in most cases, it was worse because things that I was responsible for in my job had been neglected and they'd had a chance to build up and been delayed. And now you got to play catch up, right? We all can kind of understand and probably relate to this. But I want you to think about vacations differently. I'm hoping, especially if you run a business, if you are offering vacation time, leave away, paid compensation for people to take days off beyond holidays, I hope you have this discussion with them of like, hey, what can you do with these days to meet your overall goals as a person in your development? Here you are, say you're a 33-year-old father or mother of, two little kids. You've been working for me for X amount of time and you've got these vacation days coming up. What are you going to do with those? Oh, we're going to go to Disneyland. Oh, great. Like, what's your purpose for that? Is it just because you're so miserable here and you just want to get away from your life that you need a little Disney Mickey Mouse because that's what you grew up with? And by the way, I'm not advocating for Disney. In fact, I'm quite the opposite with the whole Disney Corporation and what they're doing right now. But it is a common American vacation set, so I'm using that as an example. But if you as the business leader are not having that discussion with your people as what they are using their vacation time for, and I'm absolutely not saying dictating to them or anything of that nature, I'm saying have that discussion. Is it using their vacation days and how they're using them, is it meeting their goals? Is it contributing to their growth? I'm not saying suggest to them, hey, you should go to this conference to learn sales as part of your vacation so you can come back and help the corporation or the company sell more, right? Absolutely not. But if they want to, and maybe they're 100% sales commission, and you say, hey, you should check out this conference if you're in that area anyway. There's all kinds of things that you can have this discussion around, but the important part of it is having that discussion so you can understand better how you, as the business owner, as the leader in your company, can help your people reach their goals. And one of that ways that is often neglected, because absolutely not one of my supervisors, managers, quote unquote leaders ever had a discussion with me about how I used my vacation. And if I was using it in a way that actually benefited me beyond just an elephant dart to the face to forget my job for a little while, or go have kind of a cool experience with my family. And it may absolutely be that their goals are to create these memories with their kids. Certainly, that is 100% valid. That is contributing to their family and the goals that they have for their family. But what about some of your other people that maybe they don't have kids or a spouse? They're single. Are they spending that time hiking the national parks to broaden their horizons, to get out into nature because that's important to them? Or are they just like, oh, I'm going to travel back home and see all my old buddies from high school and probably get drunk and, blah, 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 blah. And then they come back worse for wear from their quote unquote vacation. But this is your opportunity to be the kind of leader that shows not only that interest, but that concern, that desire for your people to use their time most effectively and most wisely, especially if it's time that you're providing for them. Does that make sense? So stop thinking about vacations as an escape. Stop thinking about that elephant dart to the face, like I just can't handle this place anymore. I need to get out of here. But instead, man, this really cool Muay Thai camp is coming up, and I've always wanted to challenge myself to learn Muay Thai, or whatever that may be. Have that discussion of how they can fit those into their personal goals. Because when you help them meet their goals, guess what they're going to do? They're going to help you meet your business goals. So stop working for a vacation and start thinking about your vacation time as maybe self-improvement time. Maybe you want to get through, these stack of 20 books that you've been wanting to read or do. Maybe you wanted to develop an app. Maybe you wanted to learn how to code, like all those types of things that you haven't been able to do with that whole quote unquote work-life balance. But now you can use that time, instead of walking around Disneyland dropping 2,000 bones for your family of 4 just to get in the door, let alone food and parking and hotel. Use it as an opportunity to improve yourself. All right. The possibilities are literally endless. So make sure you take advantage of that if you have vacation. If you're listening to this and you have vacation time, think about this. And even seek the advice and counsel of other people. Like, hey, how have you been spending your vacations? What has been the best vacation that you've had? See what people say. Maybe it won't be, I went to the Bahamas and, I spent a week on the beach. Or I went on this cruise and I gained 15 pounds because I got drunk every night and I gorged my face 4 meals a day. Like, maybe that's not for you. Maybe you find somebody that says, man, I scheduled this trekking trip through the Himalayas and it was life-altering because I got to see these different cultures. I got to experience the outdoors like I never have before. I challenged my body physically, blah, 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 blah. You may be surprised at what you find if you're in the right company. All right, everybody, that's enough about that. Stop working for vacations and use vacations to your advantage. If you have people, help them use their vacation time to their advantage and not just to escape. Make sense? No matter where you're in the world, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.